What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing you guys a brand new video. We're gonna be doing a mid-taper on my boy, so stay tuned. We're gonna be starting off with our gold FX, and we're gonna make it as bald as we can because we're not gonna use our foil shavers in the back neck. Now that we're done balding them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. Make sure to make this guideline around an inch thick so you can spread the blend. After you're done setting in that guideline, you can start slightly closing the lever midway and all the way closed and start attacking that initial guideline. Remember to use your opposite hand to stretch the skin or comb the hair down whenever it's needed. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. We're going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up this line and get ready for the half guard. Now that we're done softening up the line with the one guard, we can move on to the half guard and erase the line completely. Always make sure to use your opposite hand to stretch the skin when needed. Make sure you detail as much as possible with the half guard to get that line out you made with the 1.5 guard. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated, man. Thank you. Now that we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our two guard all the way open and create our fourth guideline. This is going to help us blend into the 3 and also use our 1.5 guard. Now that the line is soft enough with the 2 guard, we can move on to our 1.5 guard and erase the line completely. Sometimes there's still a faint line after using this guard, so make sure you switch over to your 1 guard all the way open and use his corners to attack those lines. Always make sure the hair is feeding into the teeth of the trimmer properly, because if not, then the hair won't cut properly. Now that we're done with our guard work, we can move on to our clip over comb, and we're going to make the fade as smooth as possible, and this is going to connect it to the top. Always make sure you use your horizontal and vertical cuts to either debulk or blend. Now that we're done with our back taper, we're gonna move on to the side line, and we can debulk as much as possible here. Especially at an angle, you wanna make sure you give them that shape and flare. So it's probably like at a 45-degree angle. I'm also sculpting it as much as possible with my clippers before I move on to my trimmers. Now that we are moving on to our trimmers, we're starting off at the bottom and working our way to the top arch with our FadeitLuie Gold FX. Make sure you take your time here and make sure that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then you won't line it up properly. Now that we're done lining them up, we can move on to our side taper and start off by making our first guideline and balding off his whole sideburns. Now that we're done balding them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. As you can see, we're slightly closing the lever midway and all the way closed, and then we're going to move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. We're then going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up the line and get ready for our half guard. Now that we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our two guard all the way open and we can create our fourth guideline. As you can see, we're following that same curve shape. Now we're using our 3 guard all the way open and we're creating our 5th guideline. We're going to flick out as much as possible and use our comb to feed the hair into the clipper, especially when we're using our corners. We're also going to lighten it up just a little bit with our clipper over comb. Here I'm detailing with my trimmers as much as possible, making sure it makes more sense and is connected. Now that we're done detailing, we're moving on to our C-cups and we're starting off at the bottom and working our way to the top arch using the corners of our gold FX. Always make sure you don't press too hard and that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer. Here I'm detailing as much as possible with my no guard all the way open. Now we're using using our shave stick and our foil saver to remove all the stubble. Now that we're done detailing, we can move on to our top, and we're going to saturate the hair as much as possible before we move on to our shear work. This is so we can get the true length of the hair follicle. You always want to make sure the hair is nice and damped and combed in place. Now that we're done saturating the hair and combing everything in place, we can move on to the top and make our first guideline through the top of the capitus. Make sure you stay as consistent as possible and you also connect it to the sides. As you can see, we're moving on to the sides and back area. Now I'm starting to connect the top guideline to the sides on the right side. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you made it this far into the video, leave a comment down below of my subscriber count. I'm 100% going to reply to your guys' comments, so make sure you do. Now that we're done with our shear work, we can move on to our Turkish razor and Derby premium blades, and we're going to make them as crispy as possible. Before we use our Turkish razor, we're going to make sure we apply shave gel to the skin. This is so our razor could glide better. When you're using a razor, you want to make sure you stretch the skin as much as possible with your opposite hand, and also keep the blade at a 45-degree angle. This lowers the likelihood of you cutting someone. What's going on, guys? FadeitLuie here, bringing you guys a brand new video. We're going to be doing a mid-taper on my uncle, so stay tuned. We're going to be starting off by debulking the top with the foreguard all the way open. My uncle hates when his hair is long, so we're making sure we're keeping it short but dark at the same time. Now that we're done debulking the top, we can move on to the back taper and start with our Babyliss Gold FX. Now that we're done balding them out and making our initial guideline, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. You want to make sure you make this guideline around 1 inch thick so you can spread the blend. We're then going to slightly close the lever midway and all the way close and attack that initial guideline. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. This is right on top of the occipital bone, so you want to make sure you spend as much time here in detail. We are going to use this same guard and the lever to soften up this line and get it ready for the half guard. So make sure you detail as much as possible before you move on to your next guard. Now that we're done softening up the line with the one guard, we're moving on to the half guard and we're going to try to erase the line completely. Sometimes there's still a faint line, so moving on to your no guard all the way open and using its corners will definitely help erase that faint line. Always stretch the skin with your opposite hand, it will give you more room to blend. Now that we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our two guard all the way open and create our fourth guideline. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you. Also, if you want to support the channel, also follow my Instagram. Is right there on the bottom right hand corner. Now that we're done softening up the line with the two guard, we're moving on to our 1.5 guard, and we're going to use our corners to erase the line completely and also use the lever. Sometimes there's still a faint line after using this guard, so you can switch over to your one guard all the way open and using its corners and the lever to soften up that line even more. Here I'm using a 3 guard all the way open, and this is going to help us connect to the 4 guard all the way open that we used on top. We're also going to flick out as much as possible using our wrist and the guard. Now we're switching over to our 4 guard all the way open, and this is gonna smooth out the top. Now that we're done with the back taper, we can move on to the back ear lineup. And we're starting off at the bottom and working our way to the top arch using the corners. You also want to make sure you don't press too hard because you could have cut them with the teeth of the trimmer. See how that arch is nice and coming in? We also edged up the C-cup a little bit. This is so it could just be a little bit more cleaner. Now that we're done edging out everything and doing our rough draft, we can move on to our 3-guard all the way open and clean up our canvas. Since we already made our first guideline with our trimmers, we're moving on to our no guard all the way open and creating our second guideline. Since we cleaned up our canvas with our 3-guard all the way open, it's easier for us to see our guidelines. Here we're using the 1-guard all the way open and we're softening up the line, getting it ready for the half guard. Since we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our 2-guard all the way open and create our 4th guideline. This is going to help us blend into that 3-guard all the way open that we used and also our 1.5 guard. Now we're going back to our Gold FX and we're making sure our C-cup is nice and crispy, because the first time we did it, it was just a rush draft, and so that we could clean up the area and make it easier for us to fade. You always want to start off at the bottom and you'll work your way to the top arch. I feel like that's the best way to line up a C-cup. If you start off at the top, you could raise it too much and make it look weird. Make sure not to press too hard with the corners of the blade because you could irritate your skin. Now we're moving on to our 1.5 guard all the way open, which is equivalent to a 2 guard, and we're gonna debulk the beard. The reason why I use a 1.5 guard all the way open instead of a 2 guard all the way closed is because the guard is smaller and it's easier to get into places. Moving on to his hairline, as you can see, he has a lot of loose hairs and bangs that hang over it. So we're gonna make sure we start off at the middle and work our way to the sides and keep it as natural as possible. As you can see, we're also trying our best to keep the corner as natural as possible and our vertical bars as natural as possible. Always start off with your no guard all the way open when fading the beard, and then move on to your 1 guard all the way open, which will help you with your half guard. Some people's sideburns are stronger than others, so it's harder, especially when they're more dense, so just keep at it and make sure it's nice and smooth. It has to match the taper that you did previously. Now that we're done lining them up, we can move on to our Turkish razor and 3rd premium blades and make them as crispy as possible. But before we do that, we're going to apply some shave gel just so our razor could glide better. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you leave a comment down below of my subscriber count, I'm 100% gonna reply to it. Also, if you want to follow my Instagram, it's right there in the bottom corner. Go ahead, check it out. When using your razor, you want to make sure you stretch the skin as much as possible with your opposite hand, and also keep the blade at a 45-degree angle. This lowers the likelihood of you cutting someone.